What did the pandemic ruin more than we realize? I'm not sure if anyone else feels the same way, but my perception of time hasn't really returned back to normal since then. It ruined me on traffic. For one glorious year, as an essential worker I had the roads almost entirely to myself. It was beautiful. Grocery shopping at 2 a.m. was the best thing ever. Now I have to shop with the rest of you hooligans and it fucking sucks. Night shift people lives. Nothing is ever open late anymore. My perception on money. I worked so hard to pay off debt, save up for a new house, get promotions. Now with the rise of housing costs and inflation I feel like money is literally such a made-up thing and I have no control over anything even with all the right decisions. I feel like everyone is more bitter now. Like we all saw through the sham of society. Time feels different now. Things just feel off compared to pre-2020. Price of eating out. Fast food is now almost the same price as a cheap sit-down restaurant pre-COVID. The entire hospitality industry. Up in price, way the F down in quality. This might just be local, but where I live, a shit ton of businesses closed. I mean, half of them were closed. Not just because of the shutdown, they were closed permanently. No school on snow days. Our town directly said that snow days are a joyful part of childhood and they would keep snow days. I'm sure it also has to do with power outages. If some kids don't have power and can't tune in, or if teachers from other towns don't have power and can't teach, but I thought it was a nice sentiment. As a teacher, I can say that it's definitely affected kids in a way people don't realize. Kids who had their first year of school, or even second, during the pandemic act quite different than kids who had a normal introduction to school. Many of them seem to have fewer social skills and higher anxiety than kids from previous years. We were never in this together. Used car market is completely fucked, as are flight prices. The cost of living is pretty fucked. Any type of 24/7 business is just a memory. I went to go get Taco Bell at 10 o'clock and it was closed. Feels like it's a more to each their own sense of living. People don't appear to be as connected as before the pandemic. Essential versus non-essential employees, better known as those who had to show up physically in person, and those allowed to stay home. Biggest division in the workplace. Mentally it will never be the same in the workplace. Independent, smaller, music venues never really recovered. The lockdowns happened during my last semester of university. I've never had an in-person job, only work from home, which I realize is a blessing but also makes it feel like IDK, like it's not real. I have no work friends, have never met my supervisor in person, I do all my work from my desk in my room. It feels like pretend. The health system is wrecked. Way too many nurses got burnt out and left the profession. I'm in my 40s, but the pandemic really cut the list of friends I socialized with in half. We got out of the habit of seeing one another, and now that things are back to normal, we just made a habit out of not having dinner dates and stuff like that. When I realized this was happening, it made me look back and realize that I was the one who used to plan things and reach out. I made the conscious decision to stop being the one who always reached out, called and texted, and I now see that I'm only in touch with half the people that I used to be. Edit. I am not talking about socially awkward, depressed, introverted people. If anything, I'm the introvert, and I still always made a point to reach out. I'm referring to people who still go out, celebrate holidays and birthdays and socialize. Just not with me anymore apparently. There are only so many times I can try and make plans with people who don't do the same with me. I cannot be the one putting 100% into a friendship. Time perception 2019 was 3, soon to be 4, years ago? Edit. Thank you for all the likes and award. This is the most karma I've gotten on Reddit, so kind of kicking myself for not using my main account lol. My social work life, after living like a hermit for 2 years and working from home, it's taking me a long time to go out like before. Children's education, mental health, coping skills, and socialization. My wife is an elementary educator, and it's shocking how far kids regress during the pandemic. By almost every measure, this generation of kids is in big trouble. I'm optimistic that the trend will right itself over time, but it's really sad to see. People's driving is so out of whack. My only concern is to make it home in one piece.